Last year, a bag of Doritos lost 9 chips. Frito-Lay didn't announce it. There was no press release. They just quietly reduced the count and hoped you wouldn't notice. And they were right. Most people didn't. But here's what I want you to understand. That wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a supply chain issue. It was a decision, a calculated, deliberate decision made by someone in a boardroom, specifically because they knew you wouldn't catch it. And it's not just chips. What's happening to your grocery bill, your subscriptions, your streaming services? It's all connected. And it's way more coordinated than most people realize. There are 4 tactics companies use to take more of your money while making it as hard as possible to notice. And once you know them, you won't be able to unsee any of it. Let's start with the one companies will actually talk about: inflation. Inflation is real. Between July 2020 and July 2024, overall prices in the US rose about 21%. Supply chains broke. Fuel prices spiked. Wages went up. When costs rise across the board, companies have to adjust. That part is legitimate. But here's the number they won't put in a press release. Over that same period, when inflation rose 21%, corporate profits grew by 90%, nearly 4.5 times faster than inflation itself. So yes, some of what you're paying extra is companies passing on real costs. But a lot of it is companies using a moment of economic disruption as cover to quietly expand their margins. Consumers were already bracing for price increases. Nobody pushed back, and companies went as far as they possibly could. Inflation is the tax you can see. What comes next is the tax designed to be invisible. Shrinkflation, the art of giving you less. If raising prices risks losing you to a competitor, what's the smarter move? Keep the price the same and just quietly give you less. This is shrinkflation, and a Harvard study proved exactly why it works. People are far more sensitive to changes in price than to changes in quantity. A chocolate bar going from $2 to $2.50. You notice, that same bar going from 50 grams to 42 grams at the same $2, most people never catch it. Companies have known this for decades. In the 1980s, American Airlines removed 1 olive from every dinner salad on their flights. 1 olive per salad. That single change saved them $40,000 a year. But the toilet paper industry turned shrinkflation into a masterclass. When Walmart and Waitrose quietly cut their rolls by 48 sheets and a full fifth respectively, they didn't just put fewer sheets on the roll. They shrank each sheet slightly, then made the cardboard tube in the center bigger, so the roll still looks the same size sitting on your shelf. Most shoppers never noticed. Between 2012 and 2017, over 2,500 products shrank in the UK alone, while keeping the same price. Frito-Lay, after getting caught, actually issued a statement defending it. Their words: "We took just a little bit out of the bag so we can give you the same price and you can keep enjoying your chips." The audacity is almost impressive, and here's what makes it worse. When inflation eventually cooled down, those products never went back to their original sizes. The crisis passed. The smaller portions stayed, forever. But shrinkflation, as brazen as it is actually the version you can catch if you pay close enough attention. There's a version you almost can't detect at all. Skimpflation. Same size, worse product. Skimpflation doesn't touch the price or the package size. What changes is what's inside. Campbell's cream of potato soup is a classic example. For years, the first ingredient listed on the label was potato. Today, it's water. The can looks identical. The price is roughly the same. The product is objectively worse. And unless you're the kind of person who reads ingredient labels, which most people aren't, you'll never know. This is what makes skimpflation so insidious. With shrinkflation, someone vigilant can catch it by checking the weight on the packaging. With skimpflation, you'd need to notice that the soup tastes slightly thinner, or that your shampoo doesn't lather quite the way it used to. These are the kinds of changes that are easy to rationalize as your own perception shifting. Maybe I'm just more tired. Rather than a product quietly getting worse, it's cheaper ingredients, silently swapped in, while everything else about the product signals nothing has changed. And here's the thing, all three of these, inflation, shrinkflation, skimpflation, are playing the same psychological game. They're all betting that you're too busy, too distracted, and too trusting to notice. The next two tactics are betting on something even more reliable, that you're already locked in. The subscription trap, renting what you used to own. Here's a question worth sitting with. What do you actually own? Not rent, not access, not subscribe to, actually own. That $160 printer HP sells? They'd rather you pay $8 a month for it. Over 2 years, that's $192, 20% more than buying it outright. And when those 2 years are up, you still won't own it. HP's terms of service explicitly state, you do not own the device, even after completing the entire subscription term. Subscriptions aren't new. Newspapers, milk delivery, cable TV, people have paid recurring fees for a long time. But something shifted in the last 20 years. Companies didn't just discover subscriptions. They discovered that subscriptions are a retention machine. People are 4 times more likely to cancel something when they have to actively choose to do so. Most subscriptions renew automatically, quietly, in the middle of a statement most people scan and ignore. One researcher found companies earn as much as 200% more revenue from inattentive subscribers, people still paying for something they genuinely forgot they signed up for. Adobe figured this out in 2012. Before that, you bought Photoshop once and kept it. They switched to a subscription model, and by 2024 their revenue had grown to $21.5 billion, 5 times what it was before. Consumers didn't get 5 times more value. Adobe just found a way to charge continuously for something you used to own. Apple launched at least 8 new subscription services since 2015. The annual cost of Apple Watch, Fitness Plus, Apple Music, and Apple Care combined is roughly equal to the cost of the watch itself. You're effectively buying the watch twice, every year. BMW, briefly, charged a monthly subscription for heated seats, a feature that was physically built into cars that customers had already purchased. The hardware was already there. BMW just wanted you to keep paying to use it. The deeper issue isn't just money. It's that ownership is disappearing. In 2024, 84% of US recorded music revenue came from streaming. Most people don't own the music they listen to every day. When a platform loses the rights to a show, it vanishes from your account. When a company shuts down a service, everything you had is gone. You were never really a customer, you were a tenant. But even the subscription trap assumes the platform is at least trying to give you value. The last tactic drops even that pretense. Enshittification, when getting worse is the business model. There's a word for what happens to almost every platform over time. Cory Doctorow coined it, and it's called Enshittification. It's blunt, and it's exactly right. The pattern is always the same 3 moves. First, the platform is genuinely good. Netflix in 2012 was cheap, had almost everything, and you could share your account freely. Great product. Everyone joined. That was the point. Get everyone in. Second, once they have you, they start shifting value away from users toward business partners. Netflix began prioritizing its own originals over the licensed content people actually wanted. The catalog quietly shrank. The algorithm got worse. The product got thinner. Third, once everyone, users and business partners, is locked in, they extract from both. Prices went up. Password sharing was banned. An ad tier appeared. What started at $8 a month now costs $23 for the ad-free version. Uber ran the same play. It offered drivers high pay and riders low fares until everyone was dependent on the platform. Then it cut driver pay and raised rider fares simultaneously. Amazon gave sellers a thriving marketplace, then steadily increased seller fees, flooded search results with paid placements, and started promoting its own brands over third-party products. The reason it always works is the same. Switching is painful. Your watch history is in there. Your playlists, your purchase history, the friction of leaving, not just the inconvenience but the loss of everything you've built inside the platform, is high enough that most people don't. So the product gets worse, the price goes up, and the user base stays. It's not a bug, it's the strategy. So that's it. That's why everything feels more expensive. It's not one thing. Inflation gave companies cover to expand margins beyond what cost justified. Shrinkflation quietly reduced what you get without touching the price. Skimpflation degraded what's inside without changing the package. Subscriptions turned ownership into a rental you can never stop paying for. And Enshittification made the thing you're renting progressively worse over time. These are separate tactics, but they share one strategy. Extract as much as possible while making it as hard as possible to notice, push back, or leave. The honest answer to, "What can I do about it?" isn't a life hack. It's attention. Check unit prices, not shelf prices. Audit your subscriptions twice a year. When you catch a company shrinking a product without telling you, say it out loud, publicly. Toblerone reversed their shrinkflation after customers made enough noise about it. France now legally requires retailers to label products that have been reduced in size. Regulation moves slowly, but it does move. You can't opt out of the whole system, but you can stop letting these decisions happen on autopilot, which, to be clear, is exactly how all of them are designed to work.